Hello and welcome to another Royal Review channel episode, and this one is special. Let me just adjust this camera. There we go. Oh my goodness, yesterday I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming really, really, really closely. By the way, this is a live chat, and any links that I post I will share in the description. Oh, let me just turn the sound down on this. Just a second. Right. I knew it was coming. I knew that I was approaching 100,000 subscribers, which is a massive milestone here on YouTube. But I didn't expect it to come so quickly. Views, subscribers had obviously been a little bit slow with everything that's been going on in the world right now, and obviously dividing my channel, splitting my channels. A lot of people migrated from this channel over to my other channel, Steps of Sussex. So there was a few months earlier this year, from about February onwards, where things were just stagnant. They didn't really decrease, they just kind of stayed stagnant, which was testament to the fact that new people were still subscribing to the channel, even though certain people were leaving and going to my other channel, Steps of Sussex, to obviously follow the Duke and Duchess of Sussex in their new steps, in the steps of their new life. But oh my goodness, I didn't expect it. This last couple of weeks, I have seen over 1,000 new subscribers, and I have finally hit the magic 100,000. Thank you so much from myself to everybody, to anybody who has subscribed from the very early days, people that keep on watching. Thank you so much from me to you. It really does mean the world to me. And I was trying to think how I could mark this occasion, and to be perfectly honest, I have no idea. It was just one of those moments where I was just so happy that something that I had long dreamed about had actually come true. And yes, in the great scheme of things, 100,000 is still 100,000. Some channels have millions, but for me, I know that all of my subscribers were really hard earned. Some people go out there and buy their subscribers and buy their views. I have never ever done that. Every single view that I get, every single subscriber, is because that subscriber and that viewer wants to watch and subscribe to the channel. So a big massive thank you to everyone who has subscribed. I remember being sat in my kitchen I started doing live chats about 4 years ago, and I remember being sat in my kitchen just waiting and just wondering if anybody was going to watch. In fact, my first live chat is still there somewhere. In fact, I might even repost it in the community section. But my first live chat, I was literally wondering who was there. And I think I had about 6 people watching on my first chat, and it was literally like, who is out there? Who is out there? And some of you have been with me right from those very early weeks where I started doing live chats and posting videos. This channel has been going since 2015, although I took kind of almost a year to kind of really start posting videos. But yeah, the history of this channel goes back to 2015. Live chats I probably started around about 2016. So just thank you. It's a massive milestone. And if you didn't know, here on YouTube, creators do get rewarded by YouTube for hitting certain milestones. And one of those, the first milestone, is 100,000 subscribers. And it's also where I can get the verified tick on my channel. So I think once YouTube has processed it, I think what happens is they contact me and then I have to apply to be verified so I can. But also you get reward plaques. So the first one is silver. So I should get a little kind of wall plaque that's really lovely from YouTube, but I have to wait for them to ask for me to apply for it. So I'm still waiting for that to process in their system. They may wait a couple of weeks just to make sure that your subscribers don't dip below the 100,000. But eventually when I get that, I will apply for it, and I hope to do a little plaque unveiling, which is really important. I've dreamt about this plaque ever since the really early days of this channel. The next milestone is 1 million, which I think is, very far off. I mean, if it's taken me 5 years to get 100,000, I mean, just extrapolate that data. And the next one, if you're lucky enough, and a few channels have done it. is the 10 million mark, and I think that's diamond. I think you get a diamond play button for that. But that's like, that's mega dreams. But anyway, 100,000, thank you so much. Let's just read what people are saying. Thank you I should mention as well, thank you so much to the patrons who have been supporting me for many years now on Patreon. And also thank you so much to the channel members here on YouTube. Those are the people whose names appear in green. It really does help. Your support helps to keep this channel going. So thank you so much, especially in these difficult times when ad revenue has dropped and all the rest of it. I'm sure you've heard many different creators speak about how hard it is right now to actually cut a living here on YouTube. So your help and your support really does mean the world to me. It always has, but even more so right now. Lots of people saying, yay, congratulations. Thank you so much. Hello, Lady Buckingham. I should also say thank you so much to my moderators who have been long suffering here on this channel with all the ups and downs and twists and turns that YouTube can take. So thank you so much to Dawn, Betsy and Jamie, who have been remarkable throughout all of this, and also my personal ups and downs as well. Thank you so much for just being there. It really does mean the world to me, so thank you. Lady Buckingham says your first video was from your bathroom. Oh, it was, but that was not really a live chat. That was more a hello, I'm here kind of thing. But no, my first proper live stream was on my phone. It was filmed the wrong way up, and it was, yeah, I was just seeing who was there. Who was there? Who was there from that first video? Is anyone still with me now that was there on that first video? Amber says, well, you're a nice guy. You give an honest review of people and you seem a genuine person. Thank you. And I don't think I have changed. YouTube has changed. The royal landscape has changed in 5 years, but I don't really think I have changed much. I don't think. I refuse to change. I think somebody was there. Eileen says, I was there with you in your kitchen. Great memories. Maybe I should go back to the kitchen just for old time's sake. Thank you, Stephanie D. Kelly. Thank you to everyone who has said congratulations and sent me best wishes. Lady Buckingham says, think I was there but only watching. You may have been. In fact, I think you definitely may have been. Elaine says, me, I was there but I lurked in the background. Watching like a double agent. Ooh, sneaky. Sharona says, why not save up for a trip to somewhere royal, and when you can travel you should vlog it? Well, yes, I mean, I've always wanted to go to Windsor, and some people did contribute to me going to Windsor. It never happened because of previous things going on, but my lifestyle, as you all know, has completely changed now. So once things are lifted here in the UK and we can actually go places and stay places because hotels aren't open right now, I would love to go. The two places on my hit list are Edinburgh. I'd love to go to Edinburgh because I want to see all the royal things in Scotland that Scotland has to offer, but also in particular the Royal Yacht Britannia. I also very much want to go to Windsor and do Windsor Castle, the Windsor Town, but also Frogmore and the burial gardens, the burial grounds at Frogmore. I'd love to do those and walk the long mile of Windsor Castle. So yes, as soon as things are up and running, we most definitely want to go somewhere, especially seeing as foreign holidays. We're not going on a foreign holiday this year. We had a beautiful holiday booked in St. Lucia. That's not going ahead right now. So we are looking at a staycation if we are lucky enough to be able to go somewhere. So yes, this year, all being well, I would love, Highgrove as well. I would love to go to lots of to see all the gardens and the Highgrove Garden. I don't know how much you can film there, but I would most definitely love to go and see Highgrove. Sandringham, I'd love to go to Norfolk and see Sandringham. I'd love to go and visit Balmoral when obviously the Queen isn't there, because you can actually go and visit Balmoral. You can actually stay in some of the cottages on the grounds. You can even stay in Kareem Cottage, the cottage that Queen Victoria built for Abdul Kareem. So there's plenty of places to go and things to see. Marilyn says, great, thanks to you for your honesty. I've always been honest here on this channel. That's one thing I cannot be accused of not doing, is being honest. How's things in Windsor at Beast Diner? Oh, let us know, because I've just seen that you live near Windsor. Thank you again to everyone who has congratulated me, but I don't, like I say, I don't know whether I should do like a party celebration vlog. I mean, obviously I had to mention, I couldn't not mention hitting the 100,000 in this video, in my next video after I hit it, but I feel like there should be something else. So if you have any ideas of how I can appropriately celebrate this milestone, do let me know. Of course, obviously, when I eventually get the plaque, the wall plaque, that will be a reason to celebrate. I plan to do some kind of unveiling, very much maybe in Prince Edward style. I like Prince Edward style of unveiling. It's like the ta-da! Do you remember that video? It was an amazing video. I loved it. Right, I'm going to move on because loads of, as we know, on Sundays, there are a slew of royal stories. Let me just take a timestamp on that, 10:59. So, I'm going to put timestamps on this video so that you can jump to the different stories that you want to. So because it's really bright, I have to kind of crane over to have a look. So, the first story I've got was a piece on the Queen out riding at Windsor. So as we know, the Queen has been following government advice and guidelines, and she has been isolating at Windsor Castle with the Duke of Edinburgh, Prince Philip, in what they are describing as a bubble. So these are people that have actually given up their own families and their own home lives, partners, children, to isolate at Windsor Castle with the Queen. And these are people that she trusts the most. They are her most trusted aides and, servants, if you like, but staff. They are her most trusted staff. So all of these people in this bubble have been isolating together, which means they don't have to wear face masks or socially distance. But if anybody does come in, i.e. when the Queen was doing her broadcasts, apparently all the equipment was brought in the day before. It was wiped down several times with antibacterial. There was one cameraman who was wearing PPE, and then obviously they dismantled all the things and went. So the Queen has most definitely been kept totally 100% safe at Windsor Castle. I don't think there could be anywhere where she was more protected than at Windsor Castle. And also I want to say thank you as well to those people who have given up their own families and their own contact with their own families to be with the Queen, because she is very, very precious to us all. And I don't think anybody would like to see the Queen taken out by coronavirus. I mean, old age is one thing, and I still think we have a really big, long way to go in terms of old age. Maybe even as much as 10 years, maybe more. It's hard to speculate, but it's treasonous to speculate. But no, I don't think anybody wants to see the Queen taken out by coronavirus. So thank you to everybody who has been isolating with the Queen. So I'm going to read little bits because I actually found this article quite interesting. So apparently the bubble that she's in are a team of dedicated staff of 22. So there are 22 living in Windsor Castle in close proximity to the Queen. So it's been referred to as a bio bubble, which I think is quite good. So as we know, most mornings the Queen goes out horse riding, and this actually hasn't stopped. So the Queen still goes out horse riding. So I'm going to share a link to some photographs of the Queen out horse riding. I will, of course, put these in the description if you're watching on Catch Up, which I will also timestamp. So if you want to open up and follow along with me, please feel free. Of course, the park in which the Queen rides is known as Windsor Home Park, and she rides her fell pony. And there's a beautiful photograph of the Queen riding her fell pony. Of course, I can't share these photographs on screen because they are photographer photographs. So it's like a paparazzi type photograph. So do click on the link to see the photographs. She's 94 years old, and I think it really is important that she still gets her recreation. Now, her head groom is Terry Pendry, and He actually keeps 2 meters. This report says he keeps 2 meters, so he's socially distanced from the Queen, which to me kind of says that he is not part of that 22 bio bubble. But he gets everything ready, wipes down all of the equipment to make sure that it is safe for the Queen. Yeah, the horse's saddle and bridle are wiped down before she gets on, when she gets off. Now, the pony, for those of you wondering, her pony is called Carton Lima Emma, named after the stud farm near Leeds where Carton Lima Emma was bred, which I think is lovely. The name doesn't quite roll off the tongue. I mean, I may have chose something else, but Carlton Lima Emma is what the horse is called. And yeah, I think riding the horses gives the Queen a sense of normality and freedom, which if she was just cooped up in one room would be difficult. And many people have actually had to go through that, and the Queen is lucky to be able to have those facilities to do that. So, her favoured staff include Paul Wybrew. Now, he was actually featured in... Do you remember when it was the 2012 London Olympics and there was the James Bond skit? Well, he was one of the people there, and he was a person that helped the Queen at the time when her bedroom was invaded by the intruder. So he is a long-standing, well-trusted member of the Queen's team. And also, obviously, we have all of the Queen's dressers and curators of her jewellery, including the lead, Angela Kelly, who has written many books about, well, 2 books about her experience with the Queen and the Queen's wardrobe. Again, Master of the Household, Tony Johnston Burt, the Queen's private secretary, Edward Young, they have all agreed to live away from their homes. As we know, Prince Philip was helicoptered just before lockdown from Sandringham, where he has been staying at Wood Farm, to be with the Queen in isolation, or rather in this bubble, because the UK isn't actually in isolation now. Some restrictions were listed, but we do have quite stringent restrictions right now. He has actually said the challenges that we are facing, whether self-isolating, alone at home, or with our close friends and families, have parallels with being at sea, away from home for many months, and having to deal with a sense of dislocation, anxiety and uncertainty, which I think is true. Obviously, he has a history of being in the Navy. Now, relatives do live close to the Queen. Prince Andrew and Prince Edward and their families are actually within distance of Windsor. Prince Edward with Sophie and James Viscount Severn and Lady Louise live at Bagshot Park, and the Yorks are all residing at Royal Lodge, and that includes Zara, Duchess of York, and Princess Eugenie. Princess Beatrice is actually living with Edo and his family, which I'll get to in a moment. But the Queen has been keeping in contact with family via, we believe, the method of Zoom, and she's been keeping in contact with Harry and Meghan and Archie in America, and William and Catherine and Charles, and Princess Anne, of course, everybody. Although I would like to see Princess Anne operating Zoom. That would be something to behold, I think. We already have the angle. Pretend this is my power pack. Pretend this is the phone. So Princess Anne kind of holds it like this. It's set up looking up at her. Ooh, oh my goodness, we're having a bit of a rocky wobble. Oh no, what's happened? I pulled over my camera. Okay, I think we're back up. But yeah, the Queen has been still in contact with her Prime Minister, Boris Johnson. She has been doing a weekly telephone conversation with him instead of her physical audience. She has also still been receiving her red boxes. Now, red boxes contain all the papers of state from government, which the Queen has to read, and of course anything that needs signing into law, she signs it. So she has still been working very, very hard. Life is not necessarily terribly too different for the Queen, apart from she's not attending physical engagements, but the official business of state still continues, which I think is really, really good. Now, there are plans afoot, not immediately, but Prince Philip will eventually be 100 years old. It is coming up, and that I think will be in 2022. I do believe. No, let me just check. Let me just check when Prince Philip turns 100. I know he was, the last time I checked, he was 98. So let me just check. Bear with. The last time I checked, he was 98, and I can't remember how long it's been. Yes, he's 98. So in 2 years' time, I was right. He will reach his milestone of 100, and there are reported to be celebrations underfoot. Now, Prince Philip does not like a fuss. He doesn't like a fuss, but the family are said to want to make a fuss, and why not? It's your 100th birthday. It only happens once, and I think he should celebrate it. The Queens don't. The royal family, the Queen's family don't often celebrate kind of mid-anniversaries, such as if you're 95. It's usually a big number. There we go. So yeah, the Queen's diary remains empty, I think, well, at least until the end of the summer, but we haven't heard anything past that. Now, for the Queen's birthday, there was revealed a very special birthday present for Her Majesty, and that was in the form of her horses. They were actually paraded past the window, past her private apartments in Windsor Castle for her to look out at and watch and see. So all of her horses paraded around, and she really enjoyed seeing that. She waved at the horses with Prince Philip, and they were having a really good time watching the horses. In fact, the stud farm there that she has, all of the horses have actually rerouted where they trek. So that the Queen can watch the horses every time they come in and out. So they actually rerouted where the horses go to get back to the stables, which I think was really lovely. Also, one of the things that the Queen is said to really, really miss is actually going to church on a Sunday. Obviously, she has a lot of religious faith. She is the head of the Church of England, and she can't wait to actually get back to church. And that is probably the time when we will see the Queen physically next, is when she actually attends church. So it probably won't be a public engagement. It will be, most likely be when she is going to church, which she misses so much. The article goes on about how much time Prince Philip and the Queen have been spending together, which is the longest that they have spent together for a set period of time for a long time. Although Prince Philip still has his routine, he still is a very, very early riser, and he gets up even at 98 years old before the Queen. So they often don't spend that much time in the day together, but they do come together for specifically meal times. The Queen is still woken at 9 a.m. I think Prince Philip's already been up by then, by a bagpiper who pipes underneath the Queen's apartment for round about probably 5-10 minutes, and she really enjoys that way of being woken up. As I said, I've just told you about the horses being paraded around. So that is the Queen's life in the royal bubble. Let's go back to the comments and see what people are saying all about that. Lady Buckingham says, I wonder if the Queen is enjoying not having to go out all the time to places, a bit more relaxation. Like I say, she's still working very hard. She still has her royal boxes. And the Queen does like to be seen. The Queen does still believe in that motto, I have to be seen to be believed. And that wasn't hers, that was the Queen Mother's. But I think she still very much does hold stock by that. She knows that being seen is important. But I think, she knows that by doing the video messages, by still having the royal family doing work out there, the monarchy is not being quiet. The monarchy has not been silenced. They are out there, they are forefront in what is going on, and they are still very much a focal point for the UK, for the Commonwealth, but also I think the wider world as well, because the royal family do get a lot of attention from around the world. Even those countries that have never had a monarchy or any association to the UK. Right, I'm going to skip down. Thank you again to everyone who's commenting about the 100,000 subscribers. Right, let's move on to the next story, which I'm going to put at 2507. Bear with me a second. And it's about the Queen's hair. So there is a whole article on the Queen's hair. Now, the Queen has actually been doing her own hair for years and years and years and years and years. When the Queen is relaxing on her holidays at Sandringham and Balmoral, she doesn't have her hairstylist go in on those occasions. So for many, many, many months of the year, the Queen does her own hair. So not having a hairdresser come in to fix up the Queen's hair is no problem for the Queen. She often enjoys setting her own hair in curlers, and she often does her own makeup as well. So that's not been a problem for the Queen. In fact, it is said that the Queen's hair was done by herself when she made those broadcasts to the nation. And I have to say, I couldn't tell any difference. So I think the Queen most definitely is doing a beautiful, beautiful job of her hair. So a Royal Insider has revealed, I mean, I don't think you need a Royal Insider. This has been common knowledge for a long time. That the Queen has been looking after her own hair. Yes, she does. And she has been doing so whilst in isolation at Windsor Castle. I'm just trying to find who her hairstylist was, because her hairstylist did give some comments. Yeah, he says she washes and dries and sets her hair herself. And she's also very good at it. She has had lots of practice and knows exactly what to do. It is typical of her that she just keeps calm and makes the best of things. She's been carrying on at Windsor because no outsiders are allowed into the castle to protect her and Prince Philip, who is 99 next month. So, for 23 years, the Queen's hairdresser has been London-based Ian Carmichael, who normally goes to Buckingham Palace or Windsor Castle at least once a week to attend to the Queen's hair, which of course he has not been able to do. He is believed to not be part of this royal bubble. He's also accompanied the Queen on overseas visits when she was doing overseas travel to make sure that her hair is in impeccable condition whilst meeting foreign dignitaries and prime ministers and all the rest of it, presidents and everything. He was actually given a royal warrant in 2012 and a personal honour, the Royal Victorian Order, in 2017, which of course recognises personal service to the Queen. Mr. Carmichael has previously said, of all my clients, the Queen is by far my favourite. She has wonderful hair. I would love to touch the Queen's hair. I bet it feels all squishy, and I bet it smells nice as well. However, he remains discreet about the monarch. He has always remained tight-lipped and been a very, very loyal servant to the Queen, and he refuses to gossip or spread rumour or talk to the media about what she says to him in private and all the rest of it. He says, I have done her hair a very long time and I remain loyal to her. Well, good for him. He said that, by the way, in 2013. And he's previously said how the Queen is reluctant to change her hairstyle and he's insisted that the older women, now let me know what you think, older women shouldn't rush to have shorter hair. Speaking in 2013, he said women in their mid-40s and 50s at one time would rush to cut their hair off. It was like they became wives, mothers at a certain age and cut it all off. But actually, hundreds of women, as long as their hair is healthy and in good condition, look much better with soft, long hair. Now, it makes a claim. The Queen stopped dyeing her hair in 1990 and gracefully went grey within a few months. So, me being me, I thought, did the Queen dye her hair? So I looked back at photographs in 1990 and you could see the Queen's hair starting to go grey. So I looked back in 1989, 1988, 1987, 86, and her hair was remarkably dark, I have to say. Now, if she was having her hair dyed, they did a very good job of still leaving some wisps in the front of grey. so it didn't look too stark. But if you look at the change in photographs from 1990 until 1991, 1992, by 1992 her hair is pretty much grey. Maybe with a few little dark bits in it, but her hair has pretty much gone grey by 1992. So perhaps there may be some truth. Maybe she was having more of a natural dye job back in the 80s up until 1990. But whoever did it did a very, very good job at dyeing it. So maybe it was Ian Carmichael. I don't know. But anyway, that was the story about the Queen's hair. She's having no issues with tending to it in isolation. Yes, I have watched Downton Abbey, but not the movie. The only episode I haven't seen is the movie itself. Right, I'm going to move on to the next story. So let me just take a look at the time. So I can do the timestamp, 30:54. So this one is about Princess Charlotte and George going back to school. So, you may have seen this story or not. I'm not entirely sure. I'm just waiting for it to load up. If it doesn't load, it doesn't matter because I pre-read it, so I'll be able to tell you anyway. So the claim is that Princess Charlotte may stay at home when her classes restart next month because George's year won't be back, and Prince William and Catherine want them to stay together for lockdown routine. Okay, so let's kind of look at this story. So Princess Charlotte and Prince George do go to the same school, which is Thomas's Battersea in London. So for the kids to return to school, William and Catherine would have to return to London, to their home at Kensington Palace. They have been, during lockdown and during the relaxation of the rules, they have been isolating or staying at their Norfolk home of Anmer Hall. Now, under government guidelines, schools are expected to reopen on June the 1st, and that is Year 1 and Year 6 classes. Those are only the classes that affect, obviously, George and Charlotte. So it's not in the UK that all schools are returning fully. Lots of schools are looking at how to socially distance their kids whilst they're there. But it is very much up to the schools at the moment as to whether they choose to do so. So it seems like perhaps Thomas's Battersea, obviously being a private school, having smaller class sizes anyway, they may have gone with what the government hope schools are going to do, which is to reopen on June the 1st for Year 1 classes and Year 6 classes only. And I have a theory about why it's Year 1 and Year 6 classes, because obviously Year 1 is like the reception class, so that's the early years. I don't think they want kids to miss out too much on the initial early years of school. And also Year 6 is when you prepare in the UK to go on to secondary education. So they want school pupils to have some teacher contact before they obviously move on to their next setting, their next placement. So obviously that would mean that Charlotte is in the reception class, so that is Year 1, so she would have to return, whereas George would not. So it would mean splitting up the family. So what the article is basically saying is that what they may do is choose to still home educate George, Charlotte, and to a lesser extent Louis as well, at home, rather than sending Charlotte in, splitting up the family, that kind of thing. So I'm not going to read the whole article on that. It kind of goes on about what William and Catherine have previously said in previous video messages about homeschooling, and you know how Princess Charlotte, Prince George is very much interested in what Princess Charlotte is doing in terms of work. So I won't go into terribly too much detail on that because I don't want to confuse everybody with what's going on. Right, let's move on to the next story, which is 34. So Mike Tindall, who is the husband of Zara, of course Princess Anne's daughter, has made comments, obviously different family situation to the Cambridges, but he has said that they are sending their daughter Mia, who is now 6, back to school in June, and describes homeschooling the children as nice but frustrating, while Zara is still keeping herself busy, a bit like the Queen, but Zara is training her horses. So let me just go down to see where I can... I think there are some quotes from Mike. Yes. Speaking to the Telegraph, Mike said, Zara still has hopes that the horses will get back. They still need training and working on, so I get to be a teacher in the mornings, obviously with Mia, which is sometimes really nice and sometimes really frustrating. He said, I don't think any child is a great homeschooler because they definitely listen to other people better than they listen to their parents. I mean, obviously, parents who have chosen to homeschool their kids for years may disagree, but in their particular situation, that is his truth. And he said he admitted that he can get frustrated, saying Mia enjoyed it the first week because of a different thing, being around mom and dad all the time. But then ultimately, it's the same people who are telling her off or telling her what to do, and I think she gets bored of that. He said, currently the plan is for Mia to go back to school on the 1st of June, and said there was no ideal situation. But he also said he felt it was important for children to have some independence. He also admitted it's been hard not seeing his parents, who are called Phil and Linda, who are isolating near West Yorkshire, and who are in the high-risk category, because his father has suffered from Parkinson's for the past 18 years, and his mother battles with asthma. So he says that the families are keeping in touch via video conference calls, and he says that that even though they live on Princess Anne's Gatscombe Park, they have not actually seen Princess Anne. Princess Anne is very much still being safe as well, but she's carrying on with doing her charity work. So there we go. A different situation, I think, for a different family. Let's move on. 46-49. Okay, Sophie Wessex is the next story. So, you may have heard that Sophie is the she is the patron of let me just load up the story. It's taking a while to upload. Anyway, one of her charities that she is patron of has actually had to close one of its facilities, and that is directly linked to the coronavirus. So, the article says that that obviously Sophie is incredibly saddened. She's been left incredibly saddened at Shooting Stars Children Hospices, which closes one of its sites. So it's not all of the sites. The entire charity is not closing. It's had to close one of its sites because of fundraising issues. The charity has actually lost out on £2 million because of the coronavirus. Normally, funds would have been raised for this charity because of the London Marathon, different things that go on, have now not been able to go on. So it has left a £2 million funding hole in the charity's finances. And this is not just the case, unfortunately, for Shooting Stars. This is the case for a lot of charities. In the UK, we have been talking about a potential charity crisis, where charities have most definitely are feeling the pinch because of lost revenue, lost sponsorships. I hope that the government would actually step in and support some of these charities. So yes, it is very, very sad. This charity supports children, young people and children with life-limiting conditions. So it is very, very sad that this charity has had to close one of its facilities. I can only hope that when things return to normal and funding gets up and running, that they may be able to open up a new one, or maybe even reopen this one that has had to close. So yes, unfortunately, that facility is being sold to fund all of its other aspects of the charity. And yeah, it's very, very, very sad indeed that this has had to happen. So yeah, if you can help donate to a charity, not just that one, there are others as well, then please, charities need your help. Okay, also, Princess Beatrice, I mentioned earlier, is actually isolating not at Royal Lodge, Windsor, but she's isolating with her fiancé, Edo, and his family in their Cotswolds home. So as we know, Princess Eugenie, Zara, Andrew, and again a small bubble have been living at Royal Lodge, and it seems like Princess Beatrice is doing the same kind of thing, but with Edo's family in the Cotswolds, and again they have been keeping in touch via video call. Okay, moving on to the next story. There isn't really much to say about that one, and I'm very, very conscious of the time. So, the next story is, you may have noticed, you may not have noticed, but the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge have actually upgraded their Twitter account. So, for the past 5 years, they have been known on Twitter as their description as Kensington Palace. That has now changed to something a bit more personal, to the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge. They also updated the photograph as well to include a family photograph when they were waving for carers. So obviously because of lockdown, they upgraded the photo. They also upgraded the name, and I think that they've decided to make it a bit more personal because obviously when it was just Kensington Palace, it also incorporated Prince Harry to begin with, and then obviously when he married Meghan, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. So now, for the first time, you know, since it was set up, it is actually just theirs, and it surprised me that they actually took this long to make that change. So now that it is just their Twitter account, because Kensington Palace is, you know, their base, and obviously it's shared with different relatives, but, you know, Kensington Palace is their Twitter account, so why not call it the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge? I think that is quite a good idea, and I can perfectly understand why they have done that. Right, nothing more to say about that one. Okay, moving on. There is going to be a new upcoming BBC documentary of which Prince William has taken part. Now, he has made some comments about his relationship with his mother and how he's relating to that as an adult, as a parent. So he says, being a dad was overwhelming after losing my mum. He also obviously gave a rare insight into the impact of Diana's death, as he describes having children as one of the most amazing moments in life, but also one of the scariest. So this documentary is where he discusses mental health, and it will be broadcast next week, obviously on the BBC. It was a parenthood chat with a man called Marvin Sordell, and I'm just going to see. So he said, speaking to a BBC One documentary about mental health, the Duke revealed how he could be caught unawares by unexpected emotions and how he relies on his wife for support. He has, of course, spoken in the past about similar issues. He said, me and Catherine, that should be Catherine and I. William, you're letting me down. Grammar. Me and Catherine, particularly, we support each other and we go through these moments together and we kind of evolve and learn together. Grammar might be off, but the sentiment is really, really good. So yes, you know, one thing you should be looking for in a partner is the ability to be able to talk, communicate, and, you know, get through these issues. He says, but I think emotionally things come out of the blue, they do, that you don't ever expect, or maybe you think you have dealt with. So obviously he's referring to, I mean, Prince Harry spoke about these things. Well, he said that when he sees a camera flash, it takes him right back. So of course, you know, Harry was younger than William at the time, so I think William could perhaps understand it a little bit more. Maybe William processed it a little bit more. But even so, you know, he still struggles with having that kind of loss at such a young and impressionable age. So yeah, this documentary looks to be very interesting and a big rare, you know, insight into what Prince William's mind. You know, it is like a rare insight into the mind of the future king of the UK and potentially head of the Commonwealth. Who knows? Right, the very, very last story, which I am going to talk about today. And I'm very conscious this has been quite a long video, but I have been trying to catch up with lots of different things. Yeah, I'm talking about yesterday. The royal family tweeted that we had a little bit of an anniversary, and it was the anniversary of Queen Victoria's birthday, which was 201 years ago. And for those of you who didn't know, she was born at Kensington Palace on the 24th of May, 1819. And do you know that Victoria was not her first christened name? Her christened name was Alexandrina. So you may have heard, if you've watched the Victoria adaptation, the television one, she was referred to often by her mother in the series as Alexandrina, and that was her actual name. So when she became queen, she decided that she wanted to choose a regnal name. It's called a regnal name, and she chose Victoria. So obviously she ascended as Queen Victoria. Now lots of people think that Prince Charles may do something similar. No, he will not call himself Queen Victoria, but because he's had such a long-standing association with Prince Charles, with the Prince of Wales, I've always had a feeling that he won't go with Charles III. I think he will continue on the George tradition, and I think he will choose to be George VII, in a continuation of kind of his direct male line. His grandfather, of course, was George VI. So I think he may choose George and become George VII. It would also be quite a good idea to mark that separation between his former self as Prince of Wales, and of course he's carved out such a big life for himself as the Prince of Wales, as Prince Charles, as the Duke of Cornwall, that it would be good, I think, to get that separation between, Prince of Wales and King. And I think one of the ways to do that would be to change your regnal name, to choose a different regnal name. So yes, I do think he may choose George in that instance. So a little bit of information about Queen Victoria. In 1842, the Queen became the first monarch to travel by train from Slough to London Paddington. And she noted in her diary, the motion was very slightly and much easier than a carriage. Also, no dust or great heat, which I think must have been very, very good. Although I would like to ride in a carriage, I really, really would. And until 2015, a bit of more modern trivia, Queen Victoria was the longest reigning British monarch in history, reigning 63 years, 7 months and 2 days. But guess what? Our current monarch, Queen Elizabeth II, surpassed the record on the 9th of September 2015. So our present Queen is now the longest reigning monarch. So this is what Queen Victoria said of her future husband, Prince Albert. He said, "He possesses every quality that could be desired to render me perfectly happy. He is so sensible, so kind, and so good, and so amiable too." That's what you want in a man, isn't it? So Queen Victoria described her future husband in a letter which she wrote on the 7th of June 1836, and that is what she said. Right, we also have a letter from the Queen, totally not connected with Queen Victoria, but a letter from the Queen to the President of Pakistan, and she says, "Prince Philip and I have been saddened by the news of the plane crash near Karachi on Friday. We send our most sincere condolences to you, the families and friends of those who have died, and the Pakistani people, particularly at this time of Eid." So thank you very, very much to Her Majesty, of course, for mentioning that. Right, I'm going to go to the comments and see what people are saying before I go. Let's have a little peek. Thank you again so much for all the congratulations coming in. We currently have 103 people watching, so please do hit the thumbs up button. Miriam Harvey says, "Victoria, very savvy." Yeah, I think it was a very, very savvy name. Right, okay, I'm going to go. I am going to go now. And I wish you a very, very happy day. I am going to celebrate. Well, I kind of had a bit of a celebration yesterday, but I am going to continue my celebrations. And also, I'm going to go and play with my new arrival. I have a new kitten, which you will see in tonight's weekly vlog on Elliot and Matt's British Life at 7 p.m. GMT. So do go and check out my new arrival there. Right, if you've enjoyed this video and found it useful, please give it a big old thumbs up. Don't forget to share on social media, and also do hit the bell so that you know whenever I upload a new video. Also, please do remember to subscribe to the channel. Let's get it up to 1 million. So from me in Shropshire, thanks again. Mwah to you all. Stay safe and goodbye.